I'm Bob Lynch, CEO of Americans for the Arts. I've met all but 3 of you so far, and I want to thank more than 1,500 of you for joining us here in Chicago for the 2015 Americans for the Arts Annual Convention. This is spectacular, a spectacular gathering, and I thank you for being here. And I want to make sure that we thank all of the tremendous supporters that have made this year's gathering possible. And so our sponsors, American Express, the Joyce Foundation, the John D. and MacArthur, Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, Chicago Community Trust, Choose Chicago, Ovation, the Arts and Television Network, the Gaylord and Dorothy Donnelly Foundation, and then the Morris and Gwendolyn Cafords Foundation, Irving Harris Foundation, Chicago Trolley, John and James Knight Foundation, Reva and David Logan Foundation, National Endowment for the Arts, Polk Brothers Foundation, the Field Foundation of Illinois, the Prince Charitable Trusts, the Richard H. Dreyfuss Foundation. It's a lot of names. I wanted to mention every one of them because we owe a lot to them. Thank you, and thank all of you who are here. And then I lastly want to offer a very special thanks to our local host, the City of Chicago Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, and in particular, Commissioner Michelle Boone. Where's the commissioner? Is she out? There, Michelle, thank you so much. And adding to that, her core support team of Shawnee Courier and Karen Dengler. Thank you for everything that it takes to make something like this happen. The city, and this city in particular, is truly a sign for our times. It's a city that knows what rebirth and renewal really takes. Some of the earlier community development movements in America started right here, built on the premise that collective action and human will can better everyone's lives, and that's what we're doing with the arts together. Our collaborative work as a field transforms and empowers hundreds of thousands of communities across the country, and powers the economy too. Take this convention, for example. By our estimates, your participation in the 2015 annual convention will directly result in more than $1.3 million flowing into this community, including hotel nights, food and drink purchases, payments to local artists, local transportation. And using our own National Arts and Economic Prosperity 4 calculator, we estimate that these expenditures will support the equivalent of 36 full-time jobs in Cook County, provide more than $780,000 in salaries to local workers, and generate approximately $120,000 in local and state government revenue. So with that in mind, please enjoy your lunch, and a small token for today provided by Ovation at your chair. Dessert will be served in the networking break after, in the center stage following this plenary, and I'll be back myself in about 20 minutes to speak with you again. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, enjoy lunch, and enjoy the conference. Hello again, everybody. I'm sorry to break up the good conversations that are going on. That's always, as I say, the best part of the conference. Exciting for people to connect and communicate and keep up with one another. But we have 3 days for that, and a couple of things that need to happen in this plenary session. And so let me start by, first of all, saying that I hope everybody's ready to dive in. And first, social media. The conversations that start in these rooms work best when they continue outside them, and so across the country and over a period of time. So while you're here, please be sure to share your experience using the convention hashtag #AfterCon, you see it right there, and use it on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. Every session also has a specific hashtag as well, so check your program guide for those. We also have live streaming. All of our keynote sessions this year will be live streamed, as well as 5 breakout sessions. There are 1,500 of you here, but we also want to make this program accessible to the thousands and thousands of arts advocates at home. So tell your friends and your staffs and your boards that we're live streaming through our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Americans for the Arts. That you can, the other thing that I want to talk about is a commemorative poster that we have. Many of you have already picked up this beautiful commemorative letterpress poster in center stage. This limited edition poster was commissioned right here from Tandem Felix Letterpress in Chicago to celebrate this year's convention, and we're only distributing them here for free to all of you. So pick yours up at the membership table in center stage before we run out. And now, as I talk to you a little bit about the state of the arts, I want to invite you to keep up and keep trying to help change the way our country thinks about the value of the arts. I want to invite you, as we head into the next 18 months, to continue to take stands in your community to make sure that the arts are as valued and respected as they should be. Not enough storytelling is out there. We're too much of a secret, so let's make it less so. And I want to invite you to empower yourselves and your families and friends and communities through the arts, through partners and advocates and visibility and storytelling that you do locally at home. We all here believe that the arts empower us all, and the best way to make that possible, I think, is to advocate for the continued public support of the arts in your communities. So take the great state of Maryland, for example. There's the great state of Maryland. When newly elected Governor Larry Hogan released his first state budget, he proposed a cut of nearly $1.4 million to the Maryland State Arts Council's budget for 2016. Thank you for that. And cut $800,000 from the agency's 2015 budget. Not good, right? Well, arts advocates led by Maryland Citizens for the Arts, there you go, quickly went to work educating both the new administration and the General Assembly about the value of investing in the arts. They identified an arts champion in First Lady Yumi Hogan, an accomplished artist and adjunct professor at Maryland Institute College of Art. And in March and April of this year, the Maryland State unanimously passed bills fully restoring the 2015 funding and maintaining the full budget for the Maryland State Arts Council in 2016. So let's underline that for a second. Through exemplary coordinated advocacy and education work, a devastating cut to the State Arts Agency's budget was 100% erased, and that deserves a round of applause, I think. Now, this is precisely what we encourage all of you, local and state agencies and individuals and regionals and all of the folks that are gathered here, to get involved in a system like Voter Voice, the one that we use, which allows for easy, quick, and impactful activation of your strongest advocates and get them to take action. And moments like those are exactly the reason that Americans for the Arts Action Fund was created. The Action Fund, which is right there, was created to engage when arts funding is threatened on a local or a state or a national level. And I urge everybody here who isn't already a member of the Action Fund or doesn't know about it, and by the way, it's free, to visit Amalia Krusel in center stage, or Nina Oslu, who you'll see around, so that you can sign up or learn more and sign up for free today. They're having a reception and a fundraiser tonight at 6:15 in the Fountain View Room. That's a name change, so Fountain Room right downstairs. And see your program for more details, but please come and join us. And you can find out more about Voter Voice at the AmericansForTheArts.org Voter Voice also. The state of the arts that I'm to talk about in this session is something I enjoy talking about very much each year. The state of the arts is about you and what's happening across America, and it's also the state of what we do to try to help and service you. It's great to talk to you because you already are believers. Everybody in this room are believers, and we're not trying to convince people that this is a good thing, just how do we do it better? What I see out here is a collection of arts action heroes. And each and every day, all of you in this room and people like you are transforming America's communities through the arts. People get the decorative value of the arts, but they don't necessarily get the transformative value of the arts. And that's, I think, powerful as we move into the future as a way for the arts to themselves get more power and more recognition and more resources. So when I talk about the state of the arts, I'm talking about you and your work. I'm talking about the millions of individual artists and arts advocates working out there in communities, large and small, like all of yours, to make the world better. You and other arts action heroes actually are helping with healing the sick in 50% of American hospitals, empowering community change, helping advance and help with the healing process of returning military and veterans as well, educating children and saving our planet with the work that many of you are doing with issues of the environment. And what I want to be sure to drive home to audiences everywhere who are less familiar with our work is that while the arts are positively impacting our communities in so many different ways, they are also, and that's one thing to drive home, the many different ways, and the other is that they're also driving the economy and helping to drive jobs in a very, very big way. So we look at this, and there's surprise after surprise. Everybody is continually surprised at the size and the depth and the power of what you do. And the latest surprise came out this year, the Bureau of Economic Analysis. It calculates that the arts, for-profit and nonprofit, generate nearly $700 billion, and that is every year, $700 billion every year, which represents 4.3% of the nation's gross domestic product. That number helped the Obama administration recommend a $2 million increase for the budgets of both the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities in 2016, and we are all collectively working on the House and the Senate to see if we can get that passed through. And although this increase is a small step in the right direction, it isn't really enough. Our communities in our country demand more, and with the power of the broadened arts community, we will continue to fight for bigger increases in the national, in the state, and in the local public arts support. Successes like we saw in Maryland and more at the national level can be amplified and repeated, and particularly as our economy gets better. So I'm going to share with you some slides and stories about how strong the state of the arts is and how the state of the arts can be seen all around us through you. Take, for example, the work of teachers and artists at Booker T. Washington High School in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas. It's an arts magnet school that boasts a 99% graduation rate. Or look to the East Aiken School of the Arts in South Carolina. Where the arts have been integrated into all aspects of education. Now, this is what South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who has not been a great supporter of the arts, had to say when she toured this school in March. And we have a little bit of a video clip that we're going to show you. When you look at the integration of arts and how it's helping them learn, these kids aren't learning all day. They are having fun all day. They happen to be learning in the process. And to see how well that works is something that more schools should emulate. Now, those words from Governor Haley are a welcome shift, and they're a sign of a turning tide in South Carolina. For the first time in 4 years, Governor Haley, and I'll repeat that, for the first time in 4 years, Governor Haley did not attempt to veto the Arts Commission's funding, and the General Assembly has now approved another $1 million increase for the arts education in the state. So going from vetoes to bipartisan support is not an accident, but due to the tireless work of all the advocates in South Carolina, led by Betty Plum at the South Carolina Arts Council. Betty Plum. So I'm going to ask the folks behind us here to click to the next slide. We must get people, decision makers, to know what we know, that encouraging creativity is the surest way to help children succeed, that arts education is directly connected to the creation of tomorrow's workforce, tomorrow's stronger communities, and tomorrow's promise, The arts carry us forward, and the arts can be a source of power and strength even in challenging times. We got a new set of videos that are about exactly that, and they are videos for you to use locally. We will be showing them throughout the conference, and we possibly have a 3-minute clip right here. I'd like to share that short one with you now, otherwise I will read it for 3 minutes. So I think this video is coming up.
What makes the world beautiful? Is it a painting? Is it music? Is it dance? What's the world look like without these things? The arts make the world beautiful, but what are the arts exactly? The arts are a series of disciplines which cultivate our ability to imagine, create, and innovate. Those sound like science words, and science shows students who have greater access to the arts improve their chances to succeed in life. 72% of business leaders say that creativity is the #1 skill they hire for. And educators agree that arts teach creativity. What do you think? I agree. Like creative writing, which has the word creative right in the name and gives kids essential critical thinking skills. Or music, which is basically math and science made beautiful. Studio arts courses like painting, ceramics, and photography teach math and science concepts in a practical way. Say cheese. And dramatic arts also help young people expand their confidence and self-expression. Hear me now! Only 3% of grade schools offer dance. Who doesn't love to dance? Let's check the facts. Students who are involved in the arts are 4 times more likely to participate in a math and science fair. That's good for math and science. Those same students are more likely to be recognized for academic achievement. Are you seeing a pattern here? Learning creative skills keeps kids in school and makes them more desirable in the job market as graduates. Plus, they're 17% more likely to volunteer and 20% more likely to vote as young adults. That sounds like winning at life. And check this out. Students of low socioeconomic status have an average dropout rate of 22%. But students from the same neighborhoods who got a chance to take art classes had an average dropout rate of 4%. And did you know that students who take 4 years of classes in any of the arts discipline average almost 100 points better on their SAT scores than students who don't? If this were a basketball game, 100 points would be a big deal. But every year we hear about more and more arts programs being cut in our schools and our communities. Are you wondering how to support the winning team of the future? Here's what you do. Tell everyone. No, seriously, share this video with people. I didn't make it just to listen to myself talk. Ask around. School teachers, parents, students, principals, administrators. Ask them what's happening with arts programs in your community. Ask them if they need anything. You'd be surprised how easy it is just by starting a conversation. So if you're a principal, a school board member, or somebody just plain important, do something. It's not just for the kids, it's for the future, for all of us. The arts make the world beautiful and our students smart and successful. Encourage creativity. Teach the arts.
So this is not necessarily for you, you know this, but this is for you when you are standing before a city council, if it's a tool you can use, or a PTA or a school board, and there's a whole suite of these kinds of free-to-you services that we hope will be helpful. So we're excited about that, and you can learn more about the website, or more about these things on the website. The state of the arts can also be seen in the work of photographers, writers, and sculptors who have channeled the tension of the past year into timely and impactful art. This piece is by artists Damon Davis and Basil Kincaid. These metal sculptures were created in response to the death of Michael Brown and installed on the lawns of Ferguson residents in an effort to, in Davis's words, say, "We are here, we matter." Damon Davis is a graduate of the St. Louis Regional Arts Commission's Community Arts Training Initiative, and I know the St. Louis folks are here. And just one of many initiatives offered up by the agency and its founder and recently retired leader, Jill McGuire, who is also here. For 30 years, Jill empowered artists and arts groups of St. Louis to actively engage with the issues of the city, and this included funneling emergency money and staff time to create gatherings and art-making opportunities in Ferguson within days of the start of the unrest there. Again, not something that we know enough about. The state of the arts can be seen in the work of the children of undocumented immigrants in fighting for their chance to be part of the American dream. This symbol, which is now being used throughout the country, the butterfly symbol, is a part of an arts-based protest movement called Migration is Beautiful, and was created by one of last year's convention speakers, the Oakland-based artist Fabiana Rodriguez. So thank you for that work, California. The state of the arts can be seen in the work of Vijay Gupta, Los Angeles Philharmonic first violinist by day and arts action hero by night. His Street Symphony, a small but mighty ensemble of socially conscious musicians, bring live classical music to the mentally ill, the imprisoned, the homeless, and otherwise marginalized. And we're proud to have him as a member of our Americans for the Arts Artists Committee. We have a state of the arts to be seen in the monumental public artwork Exhibit B. This astounding work transformed an abandoned apartment building into a living memory of the places and histories and people that used to exist on that ground, connecting thousands of people to a story of New Orleans that could easily have been forgotten. And this 6-story high artwork was created by the dynamic artist Brandon Odoms, who I'm thrilled to say is joining us here at the convention to talk about the role of art in this explosive moment. The state of the arts can be seen in the work of the inmates at Salinas Valley State Prison, who, thanks to the California Arts Council's Arts in Corrections program, the largest such program in the country, are gaining new perspective, bettering their lives, and working towards brighter futures through performance. The Arts in Corrections program owes its existence to a $2.5 million commitment from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, so a great cross-departmental collaboration, the largest such allocation in the country. Yes. And Karen Altry, PMA, who leads one of the 8 programs funded by the California Arts Council to do this work, says that these programs are handing these men back their humanity. It's the same desire to improve lives in difficult circumstances that drives the works of the doctors and the nurses and the art therapists at places like Lombardi Cancer Center at Georgetown University. Art therapist Tracy Council has been brightening the lives of children and helping them find hope as they navigate cancer treatment for nearly 25 years. Tracy sent me this photograph of a piece of art made by one of the kids she worked with. Quote, "Some see hopeless end," it says, "some see endless hope." It's this endless hope that should always propel our work. The State of the Arts in Cincinnati's Visionaries and Voices Teaching Artist program, which each year empowers more than 4,000 artists with disabilities to teach others about art, is another embodiment of the state of the arts. It's in the face and grit, the state of the arts, of former U.S. National Guard Commander Tamar Owens, who, along with Art Pride New Jersey and the New Jersey Arts Education Partnership, developed a visual and performing arts program to help turn around the schools in Pleasantville, New Jersey, as well as an army of advocates trained to get the attention of local decision makers. The result? The local school board will invest an extra $500,000 in the effort next year. Absolutely. The state of the arts can be seen in other day-to-day work impacting veterans. Melissa Walker, who runs the art therapy program at the National Intrepid Center of Excellence at Walter Reed, and her work with veterans includes creating masks like this one, pictured here, photographed for the February 2015 issue of National Geographic. Art therapy like this helps returning veterans break down mental barriers and reconnect to their lives and families in ways that many of them will not do with therapists and others in the medical profession. And it's stories like Tamar's and other veterans that have sparked the creation of deep partnerships between Americans for the Arts, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the U.S. Veterans Health Administration, the National Endowment for the Arts, heavily into this work, the American Legion Auxiliary, and countless nonprofit organizations and agencies across the country to help veterans and service members across the military continuum stay healthy and happy during and after active duty. And more arts organizations and arts folks who are here at this convention have stories and are doing this kind of important work as part of their outreach. These stories of passion and inspiration are taking place across our country every day, from our biggest cities to our least populated, far-reaching corners. And these are the stories we need to share with others, the same stories we tell ourselves when the world feels dark. Stories of how millions of lives are getting brighter, fueled by art. Art is a beacon, we know that. Art empowers, we know that. And so we need to tell others what we know. Tell these stories, stories of art healing, art educating, art drawing together communities, art teaching us about one another. Americans for the Arts is trying to capture as many of these kinds of stories as we can. And so please go to americansforthearts.org/artsactionheroes to submit yours. Let us know what kinds of things across the community continuum and spectrum you are doing so that we can celebrate those as well. That's why we do what we do, all of us. That is why we need to encourage creativity in our young people. There's a need to ensure access to the arts for all Americans, every aspect of our society. And this is why we need to explain to our elected officials that a dollar invested in the arts is an investment that returns dividends. Economically, yes, but also socially, emotionally, empathetically. Like the card said before, we see, all of us, I believe, we see endless hope. The arts empower us all. They empower us to do better things, to be better human beings. They empower our communities to be stronger, more resilient, more equitable. And the work of Americans for the Arts is basically to help you, to ensure that you have the tools that you need to strengthen and transform your communities through the arts. It has been a mainstay of this organization since its founding in 1960, and it continues to be part of everything that we do today. And I'm excited to say that between now and the end of 2017, everyone at Americans for the Arts will be working on a set of projects designed to help those of you who are transforming America's communities through the arts every day. Whether you're an administrator or an advocate or an artist, whether you're in the public sector or the private sector or somewhere in between, our goal is to amplify the impact that you have in creating healthy, vibrant, equitable communities through the arts, telling that story better. The projects together are part of an initiative that we call Transforming America's Communities Through the Arts. And throughout our time together over these next few days, we'll be sharing more detail on some of the projects that touch on research, on arts education, community development, private sector engagement. But I want to make sure to leave you with a hint of what's coming from Americans for the Arts over the next couple of years. So what does all of this mean? The local arts agency census. Hopefully you've already gotten our emails and letters about the local arts agency census. And you'll hear more about this massive project which we're conducting with the National Endowment for the Arts a bit later today. But suffice it to say that we're hoping to gather the most comprehensive set of information on local arts agencies, how they work, and who they serve, ever collected, so that we can tell your story and you can tell it better. Encourage creativity. You've already gotten a snippet of Encourage Creativity with the video. That's just one of a great group of work that we'll be carrying forward around arts education, both new tools and new services, a large-scale policy pilot program focused on 10 states this year, and much more. The new Community Visions Initiative, we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but that is going to carry us into the country, throughout the country, and culminate in a new set of books and toolkits for how local communities and local arts agencies who exist already, or local communities that want to find an organization to help them do the kind of work we're talking about here, how they can be part of creating more vibrant communities, more equitable communities through the arts in the 21st century. We're really kicking our private sector engagement work into high gear as part of Transforming America's Communities, and on Sunday, you'll hear a bit about a new set of monographs, convenings, and research designed to help the business community understand the role of the arts and to help the arts community understand how to work with business and how to show how businesses benefit from the arts. This summer, we'll be gathering grass tops leaders from the philanthropic, cultural, government, and entertainment sectors for deep policy discussions and conversations as part of our National Arts Policy Roundtable to try to help decision makers make decisions that are beneficial to the arts while they're trying to solve the other problems that they are dealing with and how the arts can be a partner in those solutions. At the same time that this is going on, the Arts Action Fund and our local, state, and national government affairs team will be conducting educational events and advocacy trainings all across the country to empower grassroots advocates with the tools that they need to make the case for the arts in the coming election season. We'll have staff on the ground in New Hampshire, in Iowa, and we will be at both the Democratic and Republican conventions with arts policy programs, and many of you might be there with us as you've been in the past. We'll be pushing the arts through awareness campaigns on a number of vehicles, Chronicle of Philanthropy, Politico, places where decision makers themselves go for information, including an awareness campaign on National Public Radio. We have, I think, a brief 15-second audio that some of you might have heard this month, celebrating communities, celebrating you on National Public Radio. So let's see if that comes out.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Americans for the Arts, for more than half a century committed to building better communities and better lives through the arts, in partnership with local, state, and national leaders. Learn more at americansforthearts.org.
And so when they, yes, thank you. My hope is that when they go to the website, if that happens, what they're hearing about is you, and they're hearing about your work. The kind of work that we're doing on the training front, we're going to be magnifying our field education and capacity building programs. The centerpiece of this endeavor is Arts U, a deep investment in new tools and trainings to enhance our digital and in-person training work that will help us deliver on all of the visions and promises we create together over the next year. And this expansion of our education programming is supported in part by American Express and promises to better empower the leaders of our field for years to come. In the coming weeks, we'll send you an email inviting you to see a preview of what Arts U is going to look like. Try it out, see what you think. Arts U will be backed by the powerful National Arts Administration and Policy Publications database. And if you haven't ever been on it, check it out, because a lot of times people will ask me about where can they find a policy statement or a copy of a good plan or things like that. This database currently houses more than 7,000 research reports, sample documents, one-pagers, essays, and more, and will ultimately power a full suite of online technical tools and toolkits. We've just ramped it up and improved it, and it's there for you. And it will include things like the Arts Education Navigator, which will help parents, students, business leaders, educators, and concerned citizens create a personal advocacy plan. Or things like the National Cultural Districts Exchange, which is already one of the most comprehensive sites out there detailing how to create, maintain, and market a cultural district. Or the Public Art Resource Center, which will create a much-needed home and best practices center for the thousands of public arts administrators and artists we serve. In the end, all of this work comes back to you. You are where we begin and end. You out there in communities, large and small, as I said, you are a rising population of arts action heroes, armed with the tools of your craft and a vision of how your work contributes to a vibrant, healthy community. We want to help you, because the work you do matters very much, and it may be mostly unsung, but there you are, healing the sick, empowering the disempowered, saving the planet, driving the economy, and bringing beauty, and bringing conversation about important issues through the arts. There you are. So let's get the lights up on everyone, and I would like, at the beginning of this conference, for you to applaud one another for the great work that you do all the time. It's a pleasure to serve you. Our entire board of directors celebrates you, and the state of the arts is extraordinary because of all of you. And I thank you so much, and I would also like to thank all of the Americans for the Arts staff members who are there to help you day after day. Thank you. So I would now like to invite Abel Lopez, the chairman of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors, to join me on stage. And as Abel, or Abel, he goes by either name, that's the kind of guy he is, approaches, I want to extend congratulations to all of the local arts agencies and other arts organizations who received grants this year from the National Endowment for the Arts. It's always such a pleasure to recognize the hardworking staff of the NEA, in particular in this year as they gear up to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the agency. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Bob. Before we begin the awards, I would like to celebrate and acknowledge the incredible work and commitment to the Americans for the Arts by the Board of Directors. It is a privilege to serve as the chairman of the board and work with them. I would like now to ask them to stand and to be recognized. I would also like to recognize the members of our field leadership councils. You'll know them around the convention by the colorful ribbon that says council on their name badges. And if you see them, I'd love if you could go up to them and thank them for their work. Could the members of our United States Urban Arts Federation Executive Committee, the State Arts Action Council, Action Network Council, the Arts Education Council, the Public Art Network Council, the Emerging Leaders Council, the Private Sector Council, and our state captains stand and be applauded for your dedication and work. And now on to the awards. Bob?
So the Americans for the Arts Leadership Awards are presented each year in conjunction with this convention to recognize the achievements of individuals, organizations, or programs committed to enriching our communities through the arts. There's a video that we're going to have right now about the first award, and as it comes up, Abel will take over.
First, I'm happy to present the Arts Education Award, recognizing transformational leadership in arts education through strategic planning, programming, and partnerships to achieve community goals. The 2015 Arts Education Award goes to Eric Booth, teaching artist. Eric is a teaching artist, author, and arts educator. This is the first time that the Arts Education Award has been given to a teaching artist. What a pleasure it is to be able to celebrate the vital role teaching artists play in advancing arts education in America. Eric is being presented with this award because of his career-long dedication to the advancement of the art of teaching artistry, empowering the field, and transforming schools and communities through his leadership in arts education. On behalf of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors and the Arts Education Network, I am pleased to invite Eric to come forward and accept the 2015 Arts Education Award.
The Aline Valkanis State Arts Advocacy Award. And I think the technology is such that we're supposed to have a video, but there is no video. So The Aline Valkanis State Arts Advocacy Award recognizes an individual at the state level whose arts advocacy efforts have dramatically affected the political landscape. I'm also pleased to note that this award's namesake, Aline Valkanis, is with us today. Aline, there you are. Before her retirement, Aline served as the executive director of our host SAN organization, the Arts Alliance Illinois, and is seen as the grande dame of state arts advocacy in America. I thank her very much for being with us today and for everything that you've done. I'm happy to present the 2015 Aline Valkanis Award to Anne-Marie Miller, Director of Advocacy and Public Policy for Art Pride, New Jersey. Anne-Marie has led Art Pride New Jersey since 1995, and under her leadership, it has grown from a one-person shop to a staff of 8 full-time employees and a budget of over $1 million, making it one of the largest and most effective statewide arts advocacy organizations in the country. In that time, she has been a quiet yet forceful advocate locally, on the state level, and nationally, where she serves as a mentor for new State Arts Advocacy Network state directors. So on behalf of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors and the State Arts Action Network, I am very pleased to have Anne-Marie accept this state award from Americans for the Arts.
Pages. Now I'm pleased to present the Michael Newton Award, which is given each year to honor an individual for innovative development of private sector partnerships for the arts and/or long-term achievement in effective and creative fundraising techniques. This year's Michael Newton Award goes to Jeff Hawthorne, Director of Community Engagement at the Regional Arts and Culture Council in Portland, Oregon. Mr. Hawthorne established Oregon's first United Arts Fund, Work for Art, a program of Portland's Regional Arts and Culture Council, and helped break the mold of more traditional United Arts Funds by being an early or even first organization to experiment with a workplace-only campaign. It is my honor on behalf of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors and the Private Sector Council Network to invite Mr. Hawthorne to come forward and accept the 2015 Michael Newton Award.
Each year, the Public Art Network Award is given to recognize an individual or organization that demonstrates innovative contribution and/or exemplary commitment to the field of public art. This year, the Public Art Network has selected one of the oldest and most influential public art organizations in the United States, Philadelphia's Association for Public Art. Here to accept the 2015 Public Art Award on behalf of the Association for Public Art is the Association's Executive Director, Penny Balkenbach. The Association for Public Art is receiving the Public Art Network Award to celebrate its role in the founding of the public art field in the United States and its ability to lead the field with new and exciting public art projects. On behalf of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors and the Public Art Network, I'm pleased to invite Ms. Balkenbach to come forward and accept the 2015 Public Art Network Award on behalf of the Association for Public Art.
To close out the Leadership Awards, we now have 2 awards that celebrate an emerging and an established leader in our field. The American Express Emerging Leaders Award is given each year to a visionary new and/or young arts leader who demonstrates an ability to engage and impact his or her community. Thanks to the generous support of the American Express Foundation, the Emerging Leaders Award also comes with a check for the recipient. The 2015 American Express Emerging Leaders Award is being awarded to Laura Davis, the Arts Education Manager with the City of Seattle Office of Arts and Culture. Ms. Davis was selected to honor her leadership both within her organization, the Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, and in the City of Seattle, where she managed the creation and launch of Creating Advantage, a collective impact arts education partnership program that successfully closed the gap in arts access for the first 13 schools to implement the program. On behalf of American Express, the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors, and the Emerging Leaders Network, I am pleased to invite Ms. Davis to come forward and accept the 2015 American Express Emerging Leaders Award.
I'll take that check, though.
I want to congratulate Lara, and also thanks to Tim McClyman and the American Express Foundation for their generous underwriting of the American Express Emerging Leaders Award. Great to have a partner like that. The final leadership award is the Selena Roberts Autumn Award, which is given each year to recognize an individual working in the arts management world who has made a meaningful contribution to his or her local community and who exemplifies extraordinary leadership qualities. And I'm extremely happy to present the 2015 Autumn Award to Richard Huff, Executive Director of the Irving Arts Center in Irving, Texas. Now, Richard Huff is a pioneer arts administrator, and he has served at the local level in Texas, and then his career took him from there to the state arts level in Texas, and then to the national level in Washington, D.C., and then back to the state arts agency director level here in Illinois, and then on back to the local level in Irving, Texas. His contributions to the field of the local arts agency movement, however, are powerful reminders of the negotiation, the community engagement, and the leadership work that it takes to make our work at the local level happen. He's a true advocate of public policy as politics, and politics as the game of poker. And he's taught it and lived it many times. Richard has led numerous local governments and arts agencies through planning processes that were foundation-building efforts to bring the arts and audiences together. He elevated the City of Dallas Arts Commission and helped increase the budget for the Texas Arts Commission before moving on to the National Endowment for the Arts. And there, where I got to work with him in the mid-'80s, he was responsible for building the Locals program that funds so many of you and funded many of you back in those days in a very unique way, a matching grant program that leveraged dollars that then were institutionalized in those cities that got that, because the mayor had to sign on and the city had to designate the Arts Council to receive those dollars. And it increased funding cities and towns all across America for the arts. And in this year, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the National Endowment for the Arts, it seems only appropriate to celebrate one of the most important funding programs ever created for the local arts field, and to celebrate the person who made it work so well. Now, a couple of things about Richard. This is the part he's a little afraid of. But, you know, he has unique sayings, like when there's an issue to be dealt with, he talks about sitting down and reasoning, having some reasoning together. And what he means by that is that there needs to be a few glasses and a bottle of wild turkey out there in order to do that reasoning. When he first came to Washington, I knew about this, and I brought to our first meeting, which I had over at my house, a bottle of wild turkey. And he said, hell, that's only going to last a day or two. So my wild turkey bill was a fortune when he was there. He has another phrase that he used when there's a situation that needs some serious negotiation. He'd say, well, I'm confused. Confused like a fox, you know, I'll tell you. But that usually moved the dialogue along in a very significant way. And if he ever says to you, I'm just a simple country boy, you best hold on to your wallet. He's played poker well for a long, long time. He will be retiring, he tells me, in August, and he tells me that the city of Irving has decided to name a street after him, perhaps. His board of directors is here, and I don't know if that's true, because I can never tell, but what he said is, it'll be a one-way street. So on behalf of the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors and the National Endowment for the Arts, who gives this award together, and to close out this year's Leadership Awards, I am pleased to invite Richard Huff to come forward and accept 2015 Selena Roberts Autumn Award.